Hi, everybody. Welcome to Mike's Garage. Well, it's been a while since we just dedicated a whole video to talk about the Ukraine war, but I did want to do that tonight. Like I had warned the whole time, it looks like this thing is just escalating and it is going to get out of control. Okay. Everybody doesn't like what Russia's doing. Nobody's stepping in and telling Russia to knock it off, to get out of there. The UN Security Council is just saying you shouldn't be doing what you're doing. Europe is still buying oil from him and other energy products, gas, natural gas, and so they're funding the war. Okay, now Russia has pretty much run out of all its old equipment. A lot of it's been destroyed. A lot of their older vehicles and a lot of their elite soldiers now are getting involved in it because the poor young recruits who are poorly trained are just getting slaughtered by the Ukrainian army. So it's escalating to the point where now we're going to get high-tech weapons. Russia is buying high-tech drones from China, from Iran. They're buying artillery shells from Korea, North Korea, and because they're frankly running out of ammo. I mean, they are just dumping everything they can on Ukraine. And Russia has vowed, because I think Putin has realized he's not going to win the war. So what he's planning on doing is just ruining Ukraine. They are firing rockets and trying to destroy all the infrastructure. He's going to make sure that Ukraine doesn't have any heat, electricity, or running water for the winter. He's just going to keep buying weapons. Iran is making a very high-tech kamikaze drone. They're also making other drones that are very effective. Now, I did hear today that the United States was very, very active in trying to get somebody to recover one of the drones that they shot down. They said that they are able to shoot down 60% of the kamikaze drones and the other drones with their air defense systems, but still 40% are getting through and are causing a lot of damage to the infrastructure. Gasoline, oil fields, water purification locations are all being under heavy attack, and he's attacking the civilian population. Total war crimes right there, okay? The army is not capable of putting up a good defense. Ukraine is pushing them back. The soldiers are surrendering. They're demoralized, and it's going to be a long, cold winter. Ukraine, on the other hand, is using the weapons effectively. I think they're getting intelligence help from the United States and other places. Great Britain is highly involved. Now, what they're doing is Ukraine is targeting ammo dumps, headquarters where all the generals and leaders are for the military, where they're staging the ammo and tanks and other vehicles, the fuel vehicles, the food supply. They're targeting those places and taking them out. Now what that does is it leaves the troops low on gas, low on ammunition, low on fuel, and they get demoralized because they can't get anything there to support them, to make them feel like they are well armed and well fed and they have everything they need to put up a long fight. It's not happening. Ukraine, on the other hand, has a very good infrastructure. They're able to get the food and everything to them, and they are fighting. It's kind of like a modern high-tech guerrilla warfare. Well, guerrilla warfare, you sneak in, you attack the enemy, and you run away. You just go in, you cause as much damage as you can, and you run away. You don't stand there and fight toe-to-toe. So that's what they're doing with these rocket launchers. The rocket launchers are very effective. They're very accurate. I think they said that the missiles that they're using from Ukraine, from Great Britain and the United States are accurate within 20 feet and have a pretty high explosive charge on there, okay? So you drive in, you launch your 20 missiles. They're very accurate. They destroy an ammo dump. They destroy a fuel depot. They destroy a bunch of vehicles that are parked for the night. They destroy barracks where soldiers are trying to get a little bit of a break before they go back to the field, and then they drive away. So So it's very hard for them to come back and do a counterattack and try to harm them, because they're also targeting the air defense systems. Okay, so anything they can take from a drone, the reconnaissance drones that fly very high, to let them know where everything is hidden. I did do an interview before with a guy who was a drone. He wasn't the pilot. He was like the navigator and spotter. They have 3 or 4 different visions that they can go through. The heat seeking, the color, the black and white. There's several different ways they can look at the terrain to see if they recognize anything. And the software will identify shapes, even if it's camouflaged, whether it's the heat seeking. It'll identify the heat, and it'll identify from where the heat signature is coming from, whether it's a truck or a tank or an armored personnel carrier. So it's very sophisticated. But now, because Iran has gotten involved, they said Iran's going to be sending troops over. Russia's paying them to send troops over. So Iran is participating that way. And Russia has been doing that, been bringing in mercenaries to come in and fight for them, because their own soldiers are not capable of doing that. So now, with Iran getting involved now today, United States surfaced a nuclear submarine off the coast of Iran. For everybody to see that it's there. We're here. We're not going away. We don't like what you're doing. You better not let it get out of control, because you will pay. And on the other hand, they did say that Putin has moved some nuclear capable material down to that area. He's also wanted the United States not to give Ukraine any long-range missiles, because they can get close enough to the coast where they could fire across into Russia and take out the staging areas that are in Russia outside of Ukraine. And he's also, the areas that he has claimed he annexed that are now part of Russia, well, he's claiming when you go in, you try to take those areas back, that are his areas that are now part of Russia. So you are attacking the motherland of Russia when you're doing that. So he's screaming and hollering that this is against the Geneva Convention and all that, which this is just going to escalate here pretty quickly. If the wrong thing happens, if somebody does launch a low-grade nuclear attack, and that's what they do, they try to figure out where they can put this. It'll be like a 10-mile radius. It'll just make everything so radioactive. You can't go there. You can't fight there. You can't even go through the area. So to just ruin everything. So I'm sorry. I don't mean to go on and on, but what are you going to do? I mean, this is a terrible thing. It's 2022, soon to be 2023. And the brutality of just going in and killing people, trying to take over their country. This is not 1440, where you can do that with your Roman armies, or the other armies come in and they march through and they plunder and pillage and all that. And that's what they're doing. This is horrible. I hope we don't get too deeply involved. We are very involved. We're sending them now more and more high-tech weapons. I wanted to finish the story about the drone. So the United States wants to get some of the drones that they're shooting down that are made in Iran, so they can analyze them and they can see how they can jam them, how they can better target them, what kind of signature do they give off on the radar, how to detect them in flight. So that's why they want those drones, and the ones that are the least amount of damage will let them see the electronics and the flight mechanisms and everything to more easily destroy them. So it's a real high-tech war. It's a mental war, and you just got to keep watching, because this is a real proxy war, East against West. And if we back off and we let Russia have Ukraine, North Korea is going to try to take over some of South Korea, and China is definitely going to go after Taiwan. So, okay, I don't mean to go on and on like that. I'm trying to show you some things here. So give me some comments. Let's talk more Saturday Night Live at Mike's Garage. Don't forget, be there. Give me your comments. let's bring up all these topics. We could talk about it then. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you Saturday night, 9 o'clock. Thanks.